4 of our first 5 manufacturers in challenge mode have now been beaten, and next up we have BMW. So, without further ado, let's now head over to BMW, and then after that, it should pretty much be smooth sailing all the way to the finish, as the other 5 manufacturers, they only have either 2 or 3 bikes for us to collect, and I figure it was just easier for me to, well, collect all those fucking bikes in their own separate segments, as the other manufacturers we have are Triumph, MV, Augusta, Ducati, Aprilia, and Buell. And let's get through our 5th manufacturer of challenge mode and get it done, BMW. As we have got the Motorrad K1200R Racing Modify and the K1200S Racing Modify. And we have 4 different colour schemes to get of the the K1200R first. And we have to set a 125.5 around Autumn Ring in order for us to acquire this bike. Because we've not only got to do this once, but we've got to do this 4 times in order to get all the colour schemes. And you know what? Because I'm pretty much going to be hot lapping for this, I think it's more or less a small price to pay. I just have to make sure I get used to the bikes and understand their characteristics, and then I think we should be good. Even though a lot of these bikes I keep winning, I will most likely never use in a race event. But I will make sure to use as many different models as I can, because, well, I figured that would more or less be the way to at least go through the single race events. Meanwhile, for championship race events, obviously I can only switch. Obviously, I have to stick with one vehicle. Obviously, I have to stick with one bike from the. Obviously, I have to stick with one bike for the championship events, because I'm gonna shut my mouth now. Okay, let's try this again, except for saying this time we do not play hopscotch on the curbs, which is precisely what I did last time. There are certain curbs that I cannot afford to hop on. At least if I want to actually make it through these corners and get to the end of the lap. So trying again as I'm heading through this sharp, hairpin-shaped right-hander, and now heading through these 2 left-handers. And so, it seems as though everything is not going too badly at the moment. I just have to make sure I stay up on the bike this time, and then I think we should be good. Of course, I know the time trials in this game are pretty easy to beat. I'm also pretty sure that I can set a 125.5 as long as I stay up on the bike. We should pretty much be fine. And I went 3 seconds up on my first completed lap. And now I just have to do that again another 3 times. So that's our first BMW claimed. Let's now go and get the other 4 BMWs. That of course includes the first 4 colour schemes of the K1200R race bike. So, not wasting any time with the number selection. I of course am still going with the number 24 regardless. Also, is it just me, or does that colour scheme kind of look like pink? I know it's meant to be red, but it kind of looks like pink. I could just be colourblind, but something tells me those stripes did actually look like they were pink. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling, but it kind of looks like they might be pink. Even though it could just be a pinkish red, or something like that. Or it could be just ruby red. I don't know. I could just be colourblind, but it does kind of look pink to me. And I went too deep into the hairpin, but that's okay. Because I know that setting a 125.5 or beating a 125.5, that, to me, is going to be easy. So, I can pretty much afford to take this lap cautiously, but I also have to make sure that under the circumstances I keep myself fighting for every bit of racetrack I can get, because I do have to still be on circuit by the time I get to the end of the lap, which is pretty much what I need to be doing. And then, I think once I'm done with BMW, that's probably when I'll consider changing the overalls again, just to make this more interesting. And I was a second off my previous best lap time, but you know what? In all honesty, I'm not really bothered about that. As long as I'm still beating the target time, that's all I care about. Anyway, we've got our second K1200R racing bike, and now we just have to get the other 2. Since that is the only thing we really can do at this stage. So, yeah. And of course, putting on the racing number as always. I'm pretty sure the stripes, I'm pretty sure those miniature stripes, they do actually look pink. Although, I could just be colourblind, but they do kind of look like they're pink. Even though that's supposed to be red, but something tells me that shade could be pink. I'm likely not the only one who has noticed this very finite detail, but more or less, it could just be because I could just be slightly colourblind, but whatever, doesn't matter. Let's get our other 2 bikes from the K1200R range. As long as I can actually keep my rider up on the high horse this time. Which is more or less what I want. I don't want to be doing that too many times. But we'll see how we go. So we continue. I do stay up on the high horse this time. Gotta make sure I don't bounce on the curb this time, and fortunately I don't. Although I do have a little bounce there on that curb over there, but no harm, no foul. And it looks like we should be okay. I almost went off the bike there, but able to hold on. And I go faster than my previous best. Alright, that's nice. As I set a new personal best lap time of a 1:21.9. And you know what? I'm going to save that replay now, because of just how much I want to. And also because of how transcendent I think these colour schemes really are in comparison to the K1200S. So, for this segment, well, we're mainly just hot lapping. That seems to be what we're more or less doing. We're basically just setting hot laps around Autumn Ring. So that's now 3 of our 4 colour schemes now acquired, and all that's left for us to get is the yellow colour scheme. And so we now move on to our final paint scheme of the K1200R. And this one is yellow. As yellow as a sunflower is what I would say this is. Or as yellow as most American taxis. Because it's not just New York that has the black and yellow taxi style. And it looks like we're doing good here. I'm obviously not gonna chase any records here. I, of course, am just going to be here to, well, more or less keep a hold of the bike and make sure that I get to the end of the lap. And just using a bit of throttle control there through the spiral. And now we head up through these left and right handers, and it looks like we're pretty much on course for what should be an easy win. Not quite a new personal best, but doesn't matter because we still get the bike by less than 3 seconds. And there we go. Now all we have to do is go and get the K1200S, which from what I know is probably going to wind up being another hot lap around Valencia, most likely, since that's pretty much what the case has been for almost all the other super bikes that I have won from the challenge mode. And putting on my distinctive number 24, as I always seem to be doing these days. And now, all that's left is the K1200S. And, oh, we're doing another lap around Autumn Ring again. Alright. So I think we're just going around Autumn Ring for this segment. Not really anything exciting, but either way, pretty much just getting these bikes by default, more or less, is what me thinks. So we'll see how we go. So, if you're wanting my opinion, it's actually pretty boring altogether, knowing that we're not actually pulling off any overtakes. We're mainly just setting hot laps around the same track over and over again. and we're basically just more or less putting together, well, hot laps around Autumn Ring. I'm also pretty sure most of the remaining bikes we have are either expert bikes or super bikes. I would say they're probably super bikes, which means we're most likely going to be doing some more hot laps. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Because as long as there will still be some racing in between, then, in all honesty, I don't really care. A little bit of a lift there, and this one is probably going to be one of my slower laps, but either way, doesn't matter because we still got the bike. And all that took me was 16 minutes to get all 5 super bikes from BMW. And just going to check to be sure, make sure that I have a replay saved. I'm pretty sure I do, yep, there it is. And now, let's go and get the K1200S. And then, we can get this finished off. So, that's pretty much BMW now done and dusted. And what we have to do next is head down to Triumph. Alrighty. So that's now all 5 of the super bikes from BMW. All 4 K1200R paint schemes, and the one and only K1200S paint scheme. And is the next one a super bike? Oh, an expert bike. And we'll be heading to Twin Ring Motegi on the Triumph Speed Triple. Anyway, next up in challenge mode will be Triumph. Since ironically Triumph is a British manufacturer. But anyway, so we've moved up by 5 bikes. And if I can find them in here somewhere, yep, here they are. We've got all 4 K1200R paint schemes, and the one and only K1200S paint scheme, increasing our total up to 180 bikes now, and our status now moves up to 43.4%. So in essence we've gained, I think that was 1.1%. I'll check. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I'll check to be sure. We have gained another 1.1% of progress as a result of us getting all 5 of the BMW racing bikes. And now that that's done, next time we will be heading over to Triumph, coming in the next episode.